Hey guys, kia ora, whakalofa lahi atu e nau mai hoki mai. Welcome back to this week's podcast episode. Well, this is 2026. I have not had a podcast in forever. I think the last time I had a podcast was July 2025. Honestly, everything just was all happening. But I'm so glad I'm back for the next 14 days at least. I'm going to be doing an episode a day, and this is specifically for self love, for Valentines, right? I thought coming into February, like February is known as Valentines, as like the self love kind of vibes. I was recently at the warehouse at the Warewhare, and they just had like a whole Valentine section, which I throthed. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see my pajamas. These are a warehouse Valentine's edition. And also, if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, what the fuck, why is she in her bed? This is my new spot, y'all. I'm back in New Zealand. And in the next episode, I'm going to dive more into that. But I'm back in New Zealand. I moved home to New Zealand, and really, I'm just going to be doing a podcast series. And the podcast series is Love Yourself Enough To. And this kind of stemmed with like all the self-love, the Valentine's kind of vibes and all the things. But I was catching up with a friend just yesterday, and we were talking about self-love, and she was talking about someone she knew who would jump on diets, lose 20 kgs, then get off the diet and put all the kgs back on. And it was just like this hamster wheel of a life. And then also we were talking about when people know what they need to do, but they don't take action. And my whole thing, my whakaaro is like, love yourself enough to do that thing. Love yourself enough to wake up at whatever time, 5 a.m., that could never be me, but 7 a.m., and do your morning routine, go for your walks and all the things, right? So love yourself enough to do those things. So I'll be breaking it down in all the podcast episodes. But this week, I want to talk about love yourself enough to stop trying to be somebody else, which, boom, like, and that's the reason why I am here and I'm filming this here right now. Literally moving back to New Zealand, I am starting from ground zero. I am on a mattress on the ground, and it's all kei pai, right? I'm loving myself enough to not show up on here and pretend I have it all together, and do some, makeshift background or whatever, and, be whakama, be shy, be shameful of where it is that I am in my life right now. And I think a lot of people have this facade of what, they pretend their life is like, right? They pretend, there's a lot of pretending going around. And this podcast is like, love yourself enough to no longer pretend, to no longer fake it, to be authentically yourself in every area of your life. And for me recently, where this has shown up is in business. One of my friends, and I love her so much because she challenges me. We all need friendships that challenge us, right? She challenges me, and she said to me, she was like, oh, you don't shine online like you do in person. And when I first heard that, I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, this can't be real. Like, what are you talking about? But as we unpacked it and we sat with it and we kind of, unpacked every area of it, I was like, you know what? Actually, you're right. Like, I didn't realize, but when it was said, I was like, could this be true? Is it true? You know how I tell you guys to always investigate. Is it true? Especially if something is triggering you. Is it true? And when I unpacked it, I was like, actually, it is true. And why is it true? Why am I not shining online, like I do in person? And, we unpacked it and realized that I thought to be professional and to have a successful business, I had to be serious. I can't be the goofy, funny person I am. I can't be the person sitting on a mattress, fucking in my room recording a podcast, right? I can't be that because I have to look professional and I have to look a certain way for women woman to then invest in me and to be coached by me and to have a successful business. And it's just like pulling all of that down. Like, no, this is me at my core. I was realizing after she said it, I was just picking up on all the places where I would filter myself, or if I'm editing a video and I say a funny joke, or I laugh at myself, or I say, all the things that make me my personality, I was cutting that out because I was like, oh, not professional. Oh, can't say that. Oh, and I was like, yeah, really filtering who it is that I am. And, for a long time as well, I thought, I can't say those things. I can't be vulnerable and share this part of me because I'm supposed to be a confidence coach, or because I'm supposed to be a self-love coach, right? So I have to be perfect and I have to have all my shit together. And it's like, no, loving yourself enough to allow yourself to be who it is that you are, to drop the shame, to drop the fear, to drop the freaking facade. So I think one way of really helping you do this as well is to go back to who it is that you were at your childhood. Because in your childhood, you're your most fierce, unfiltered self, right? It's before you learned all these things in the world that programmed you to believe other things, and you were conditioned to believe things, and people put their insecurities onto you and all these things. But when you're little, you are so pure and you know what it is that you love and all the things. So go back to that. Go back to those things that you did, how you were, your personality back then. Maybe you are extroverted, but then the world told you to be an introvert and to shut. Whoa. And the world shut you down, right? The world was like, no, you're too loud. No, you're too much. You need to shut up, or whatever you were told to shut up your whole life, right? So loving yourself enough to stop trying to be someone else, stop trying to follow the latest trends or follow another person because you think that there's, the way that they are is more successful than you. So you compare yourself and then you change yourself to look like that person, or to be that person, or to have a personality like that person. No, strip it all back, because when you do show up authentically as yourself, whereas I feel like I do this in every area of my life. It was just the business area that needed a little bit of a top up. But when you are doing this in every area of your life, you walk through life just so freaking free, on fire. Things are aligning. You don't have to put on a facade. You can show up uniquely as you are, with your friends, with your family, online, all the things. The life is just way more easier that way, right? Because you're not faking it. You're not faking that shit. So love yourself enough to stop trying to be someone else. Be who it is that you are. And if you're sitting there like, I don't know who it is that I am, go back to childhood. That's who you were. I remember when I did this exercise, I realized when I was a child, I was roller skating. I was outside a lot. I was having fun a lot. I liked to sing and dance and be goofy and all those things. So I started doing those things. And you have to do things and try out new things to really find out who it is that you truly are. So that's the tip for the week, is go back to your child self and think about all the moments when you are in your most happiest state. Where are you? Who's around you? Who are you with? When you feel on fire. So that is it for this week's podcast episode. I am so excited to be back. If you want to show some love in the comments, please do like. No, you can't Can you like? Yes, you can on YouTube. I don't know if you can on Spotify, but share this with someone that needs to see it. Let them know we're doing 14 back-to-back episodes for the month of February. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Ka kite, koe kia.